I'm not, you know, pissing my man off as often. He's not pissing me off as often. Like, it's lit. Hi, my name is Imani, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. In this video, I'll be telling you guys about how I just recently quit my toxic job, okay? So if you're interested in the story and how and why I quit my job, then please keep on watching. Okay, so just a quick little backstory about how I got this job and what I was doing. So basically in 2019, I lost my grandmother, and me and her were super, super close. It was a very, very traumatic event that happened in my life, and it was unexpected, and it definitely put me into a deep depression for a while. But I got this job that I quit in the same year. She passed away in April, and I got this job in October. So during my depression, I reached such a low to where it was just like, all right, Imani, you're either gonna keep being depressed, or you're gonna generate this energy to be somebody that your grandmother would be proud of. So that's exactly what I tried to do. That's exactly what I did, honestly. So in October, well, I'll backtrack. So around like July, I ended up applying for jobs to work with kids, okay? Anybody who knows me knows that I cannot wait to be a mom. I love kids, and I honestly went into this field just hoping that it would just save me. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I just came into the field with an open mind and an open heart to, you know, just love on some kids and make sure that I'm, you know, being productive while taking care of kids. You know, I felt like it was sweet. So I ended up getting a job really quickly with this daycare center, and it was really, really ratchet. It was, and I could only do it for a month. The kids were great, but just how it was ran, like I just couldn't do it anymore. So I ended up applying for another daycare center job, and this one was at a church. So I started working there. I loved the people. I loved the kids. It was a great experience. But my bank account though, like, it was just the money wasn't, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. So, you know, I knew that it wasn't a place that I was going to be able to stay for a long time. So I definitely started to seek other employment, and that's how I got into this job here, the job that I quit. I got on with the agency to work with foster kids. Initially, I thought the job was super, super perfect. I felt like, you know, God aligned me with this job for a reason. And even to this day, I still feel the same way, because I feel like I got a lot of experience out of the job, and I created a lot of great relationships. But I definitely experienced a lot of trauma at this job. I know that word gets overused a lot, but it just is what it is. So initially when I first came on, I was basically going to be transporting foster kids to wherever they needed to go. My schedule would change throughout the week. Along with that, I would work with the same kids a lot of the time. So I created a lot of relationships with those kids, with those foster parents, and with those kids' biological parents. So with that being said, I felt like, great, I'm here. I get to be a role model for these kids. I get to make sure that they are getting the best experience possible while they're going through something that no kid should ever have to go through, let's be honest. I was super optimistic, super positive, and I remained that way all throughout my year and a half there. I'm not even going to talk about all the traumatic events that happened, just because I feel like, you know, that's just a separate video. Like, that's just a separate you know. But I will talk about what led me up to having to quit, what was my breaking point. About a year into me working, work was great. My supervisor and I was super close, so I thought. We ended up the way my job was set up, my job that I worked for was out of Panama City, and I am based out of Tallahassee. So I was the only Tallahassee person in Tallahassee. Like, it was just me. So if something happened in Tallahassee, I got called to go pick a kid up, or, you know, whatever the situation was. And everybody else was in Panama City. Every day for work, 5 days a week, I drove to and from Panama City. About a year into me working, they decided to hire on somebody else in Tallahassee to help me. And it was a older white guy. I'm not gonna say his name. On the first day, literally, I told my supervisor that he made me feel uncomfortable. He was very, very touchy, and I did not like it. She told me, oh, Imani, you know, he's an older man. That's just, you know, his mannerisms. It's gonna be okay, you know, but let me know if it escalates. So I ended up letting her know when it escalates. And this guy would touch me. We would have to be driving in the same vehicle together. So whenever he would laugh or whenever I would laugh, you know, have to touch my thigh if he laughed, or if I'm driving, his arm is over my seat. When we would talk, he would always tell me how beautiful he thought I was, and how I'm such a strong young lady, how he's never met a young black girl like me before, how I remind him of this little, verbatim, how I remind him of this little black girl that he had a crush on when he was in high school. With all of that being said, and all of that happened over a span of, I'll say, about like 4 different occasions. And they were all reported to my supervisor. And throughout this, I was told that she was reprimanding him, and that she was gonna, you know, make sure that he stopped, and make sure that she talked to him with the directors, and blah, blah, blah. I ended up asking about the meeting that they had supposedly had, and then it turned into, oh, we haven't had it yet, and oh, it's gonna be scheduled for next week. Next week comes, oh, we didn't have it today, we're gonna have it tomorrow. And then it turned into, oh, we had it, but we had another incident happen, so we just talked to him about that, really. So we didn't really get to talk to him about the sexual harassment. He was with the company. Long story short, I felt like I had to take matters into my own hands to feel comfortable at work. So whenever I had to interact with him, mind you, it's only me and him in Tallahassee. Whenever I would have to interact with him, I made sure I had my boyfriend with me at all times. Whenever I had a conversation with him and it wasn't at work or around coworkers, I made sure I had my boyfriend listening on the phone call. This man made me feel that uncomfortable. I ended up getting an email on my work phone saying that this guy is being terminated because he's been convicted of molestation. We work with foster kids, okay? And this guy has been convicted of molestation, been convicted of molesting a minor, okay? And I talked to my supervisor because I'm alarmed. You know, this man has been, he knows where I live, you know, all these other things. And my supervisor basically is on the phone, bawling her eyes out, crying because she feels so bad that she didn't do what she was supposed to do. And I'm just like, I literally have to sit here and deal with having to be around a monster. It was just crazy. So after that, it kind of blew over. I was kind of feeling even guilty for my supervisor, because she felt like, you know, this is the first time she had a situation like this, and, you know, she just didn't know how to handle it. Then I learned that all of my other coworkers who are based in Panama City are making $3 more than me. After a year of employment, after over a year at this point. And I had stellar performance reviews. I was great at my job. And my supervisor knows this. Supervisor verbatim told me I know that you work 2 times harder than everybody else. I know that it's not fair. And it's just like, it put me in a situation where, you know, as a supervisor, you should be able to recognize that you have a hard worker that's making less money. I shouldn't just have to find out, you know, that this is going on like this. And needless to say, I gave them about 4 or 5 months to do something about it. And, you know, I stuck it out for that time, but nothing seemed to change. They kept telling me it wasn't in the budget, but, you know, yeah, that just wasn't enough for me. So, of course, I started seeking other employment. I had a vacation set up, and I was on vacation from, I think, like the 26th to, I think, actually the 22nd till June 4th. And it's like a month out from my vacation, and there's literally only 7 people who work in my department, and 3 of them were on vacation. So now I'm working 2 times as much already, just on the regular schedule. Now I'm having to double that because I have to help this person with their transports. I have to help this person with their transports. And, you know, I was literally just on my last leg. You know, I was tired, I was exhausted, and I felt like my health, my mental health was honestly damaged just because of everything that happened with this job and just how stressful it was. So I end up applying for this job, and it's still along the same lines of what I was doing previously. I still get to work with kids. I'm working with at-risk youth. And basically, I applied for this job, and I ended up getting the job. Like, when I turned in my letter of resignation, I was still about 12 days out, you know, so I didn't just up and leave. I sent it to my supervisor and the director of the company, and I got a call from my supervisor. She was like, "I'm sorry, I just got your letter, and I'm so sorry to see you go. You know, I don't want to see you go, but you had to do what's best for you." And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine. Thank you so much." And then she started asking me something about like my schedule or whatever. And I went to work that day and the next day, and that was it. I got to turn in my company vehicle, turned in my company phone, turned in my company card, and I was done. It's already been about a month, and like, I feel so different. Like, I feel a change in my body. I feel a change in my mind, my spirit. I'm lighter. I'm happier. I'm not, you know, pissing my man off as often. He's not pissing me off as often. Like, it's super blessed. And I just want people to know that if a job does not appreciate you, leave. But don't quit your job until you have something lined up, okay? Like, that's key. That's the #1 message, okay? Don't quit unless you got another job lined up, okay? But yeah, so if you're wondering if I regret quitting my job, the answer is no, okay? I am the happiest I have ever been my whole life, honestly. And we can blame it on the antidepressants if you want to, but I am happy. I feel like now I can have time to be me and pour into who I am as a person. I went from working 5 days a week, driving 5+ hours every day, to working 15 days a month, and I work at a facility now, so I'm just driving to work and back. Like, so yeah, it was the greatest decision I've made all year, boo. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for clicking on it, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye.